And that's the most common concern that we hear attorneys express in our pre-mediation phone calls, that they're afraid that joint session will just blow up with argument and upset between the two sides. And honestly, there's always emotion in these joint sessions. Sometimes people cry, sometimes people get angry. Usually it's a fairly low-level form of anger. You know, nobody's lashing out physically or anything like that at each other. But most of it depends on the comfort of the mediator in working with strong emotion and the comfort of the attorneys in being around strong emotion. And I have to say, in my experience, attorneys and to some degree mediators are conflict avoidant. Even though our work involves conflict, we as individuals tend to not enjoy it. Most people don't enjoy it. But there's a certain kind of comfort level that some mediators have developed, I think, in working with high emotion conflicts, and employment conflicts are always high emotion. Even if you have them in separate rooms, there's a lot of high emotion. So a piece of that, what I hear in what you're saying is, how can I ensure that my client is protected and that the mediation doesn't fall apart in the first hour by doing an extended joint session? And one of the answers I have to that is you can structure ground rules with the mediator in advance that include, you know, even if you just do it right before, on the morning of the mediation. I usually meet with each side separately for 5 or 10 minutes before we actually come into joint session. So one of the things that is very effective is to set forth ground rules, such as sometimes the plaintiff's attorney wants to be the person who is asking their client questions, so sort of leading them through the important parts of their story, and that can be very effective. Other times, the plaintiff's attorney is okay with defense counsel asking some questions, but reserves the right to interrupt the questioning because this is not a deposition. So that's another sort of protection. And you know, so there are different rules that you can set up that help protect both sides, and ground rules around being respectful. And if it gets too heated, then you know anyone can call a break, and the joint session ends.